I was over the moon this morning to find out there's another bootleg series, this time volume 18, Through the Open Window. I thought as soon as I saw that, yes, brilliant. And it's probably one of my favourite periods, maybe other than Blonde on Blonde, Highway 61, etc. But this one, obviously the freewheeling period, the Bob Dylan album, and earlier as well. And you've got details here on the Bob Dylan website. I'm going to buy mine probably on HMV or probably in HMV. But this one in the UK, 8 CD set, I probably won't be going for that, but still, wow, absolutely amazing. It's quite expensive, £119 I think or so in the UK. So this one, 48 never before released performances, 38 super rare cuts, and so on. Lots of material that I've never heard of. I've got, or had, I should say, in the past, many of the bootlegs. I loved lots of those. Certainly that early 60s period, Bob Dylan. There was just something magical about that period. I just loved that 62, 63, that sort of time. So this set also features the unreleased complete recording of the Carnegie Hall. And, well, let's just go through the different sets. So you've got here, just click here, and Through the Open Door. See there, Bob's standing there, and you've got this one. It goes, obviously got some details here, all the various things. Here's the 8 CD version. I mean, that is just impressive. This does look like a lot of material. And I've got these ones, of course. I've got loads of the Bob Dylan Bootleg Series. I bought Volume 2. And I'm certain some of the songs, obviously, there's going to be some overlap. But there's also a lot of, this one as well, which is brilliant. No Direction Home. Love all those ones. This one, 1971 as well. Mainly the 60s, but a few of the 70s one. But this one, you got loads of classic ones. 1956, all the way back to 1956, 1959, bit of a gap there. Obviously, maybe that material is not available, which is a pity. But 1956, 1959, you see you got San Francisco Bay Blues, Jesus Christ, East Virginia Blues. I'm certain some of these ones I've heard probably on various different bootleg tapes over the years. These sort of University of Minnesota, Party Minnesota, these sort of ones have been doing the rounds, I'm certain. But this one, Riverside Church, again, an absolute classic. This one, Handsome Molly, and also introduction here, See That My Grave Is Kept Clean. Again, some of these tracks, familiar tracks, but still lots and lots of them here I have never, ever, ever heard of. I Fly Away, you've also got an alternate take from the Caroline Hester one, which I've never bought. Caroline Hester with Bob Dylan. And you've got loads and loads of Gospel Plough. Obviously, these ones are all, again, on the Bob Dylan first album. I love that one. That was it was the first ever Bob Dylan. I just thought, wow, just amazing album. Then, of course, Freewheeling, Times, etc. And you got here Dink Song, remember that one? In the Evening, I'm not familiar with that one. Baby Let Me Follow You Down, of course, a classic. Death of Emmett Till, but there's also ones that I've never heard of. Roll On John. You got Harry Belafonte with Bob Dylan. It's Dangerous, again, not a track. I'm Victoria Spivey with Bob Dylan, etc. So there's just loads and loads, lots of freewheeling outtakes. In many ways, that's the only slight disappointment with this, is that I was hoping that it was going to be a freewheeling collection. There was going to be an outtake set for the bootleg series of these just separate. And obviously maybe the Bob Dylan one would be with these earlier ones. But the freewheeling outtakes would all be in their own massive collection of freewheeling. But I Shall Be Free, Hero Blues, actually, again, not familiar with that one. Kingsport Town, obviously heard that song, but it's still just great list selection of brilliant songs. Now, I don't know all the different versions of all these things. I mean, here you got Boots of Spanish Leather. I have no idea what the differences will be. Probably fairly similar to the actual release ones. I'm certain there's going to be slight variations, but it's always fascinating to listen to all these different outtakes. Sometimes, of course, these albums can get a bit excessive with about 15 versions or outtakes, and you think, yeah, they're all much the same after a while. So I'm not that obsessive of Bob Dylan fan. However, I will be getting the 2 CD set, and I will be doing the same with, of course, the Beatles, which I was over the moon with the Beatles one. They're actually releasing the Anthology 4 as a separate 2 CD set. Yay! Because I really wasn't intending to buy the full Anthology 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am buying the 2 CD set for 4, which is great. I'm looking forward to that. It should be amazing. I'm quite certain it will be amazing. But this really does look an amazing set. And this has got Let the Good Times Roll, the 1956. Is that the earliest version of Bob? I mean, that's pretty early, 1956. That's really going back in time, isn't it? I've Got a New Girl. You got here, again, some more Bob Dylan outtakes. He was a friend of mine. Of course, Man of Constant Sorrow. Bob Dylan Rehearsal. You got Minneapolis Again, Party. East Orange one. I loved all these ones. I remember listening to, say, bootleg tapes with all these sort of things. Talking New York. Just great. Rocks and Gravel. Freewheeling outtake. So you've got some freewheeling outtakes on here, but not enormous amount. But still, Don't Think Twice. Of course, the Gaslight Cafe. When I went to New York first time, of course, went to Greenwich Village. I loved it just walking around there. Of course, it's nothing like it was back in the day. But I also went, of course, to the front cover of the Bob Dylan album. Well, it was actually baking hot that day. It was absolutely nothing like Bob Dylan would have had on, of course, that freezing cold day. So it was slightly different. But still, none of the cars look remotely like the cars that were in that original album covers. And, of course, lots of many variations of those pictures. And then you got here House of the Rising Sun, informal recording, Seven Curses, Master of War, Girl from the North Country, beautiful songs. Just love these ones. Liverpool Girl. That's not familiar with that one. Obviously, Hattie Carroll, Times Changing, and you've got here Carnegie Hall. So you've got a fair amount of the Carnegie Hall. There's quite a few tracks here. You've got, 7 or 8 there, which is great. I am really, really looking forward to that CD set, and that's coming out, obviously, October, end of October, and that will be brilliant. I think it's about £29, £27 or something in the UK. Certain price will stabilise at some point. I will find different copy prices of that, but I'll probably guess mine on HMV website, which I generally always do. But this is just great news. I think just brilliant. There's been a lot of great stuff coming out recently. Like The Who have done some great stuff. Rolling Stones, maybe Rolling Stones will suddenly bring out some amazing big sort of collection of outtakes or something. That would be weird. But anyway, who knows? I think this is just brilliant. Bootleg Series, Volume 18, just keeps on rolling. I mean, this is just great. Like I say, I've got file here. There's all these little ones, the basement tapes, of course, the Whitmark demos, this one, the best of Cutting Edge. I love them. Absolutely love. For me, I love a little booklet as well with all the details. Always absolutely brilliant. So this one, Bob Dylan Through the Open Window. Are you going to be buying this one? Which one are you going to get? If you are going to get the set, you're going to go for obviously the vinyl. I haven't got a record player, so that's not going to be much use. Or the 8 CD set, or are you just going to go, as I am, the 2 CD set? Been great to know. And also, you're a Bob Dylan fan. Maybe Bob Dylan fans, maybe they know comic book fans that love Bob Dylan, because I'm saying obviously most of my channel generally it's for comic books, but of course I do love music as well. And whenever something like this comes out, it's got to be shared, hasn't it? Like or dislike, always appreciated. Bye.